Hi, I'm Dr. Rochelle Franz, and I am excited to share with you about the Painted Play Spaces project. This is the implementation phase resource and training. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Kinesiology and Health Studies at the University of Central Oklahoma. I've been fortunate to work and partner with OSDE and the OSDH on this project, which is called the Painted Play Spaces project. So I've had a few of my amazing students help me along the way, and we are really grateful for the opportunity that we've been able to serve and learn together. So we're going to talk about the implementation phase of the project, but I wanted to make you aware that there are three different phases of the Painted Play Spaces. So the first phase is the design phase. The second would be preparation. And the third that we'll discuss today is the implementation phase. You'll be able to go back and find other trainings and resources specific to the design and preparation phase. And I really encourage you to do that before you jump into this training. So if you've not seen those resources, maybe push pause, come back to me in a few minutes once you've looked at the design and preparation. So with this, we are not only going to provide this type of training through the PowerPoint and talking you through this, but there will also be other resources that you'll be able to find that will support the implementation phase. So here's what you'll get with this specific phase of the project. And this is the final phase. So this is where all of that work that you've done on the front end, this is kind of where we get to see it come to action with the students at your school. So the Playbook of Recess Games is one of the resources you'll be able to find. And this was designed specifically to help you with implementation. This phase has two components, and we'll talk about both of those. First, your safety considerations, and second, teaching the games that you've painted on your play area. One important phase or one important thing to consider is safety, right? Before we do anything, we want to make sure that the environment is set up safely and that the students and your children will be able to participate in the events and be safe at all times. So important to understand and remember that the games can always be modified, right? So you can use equipment or you can have zero equipment and the games will be successful and the kids will have a good time no matter what. Also, use the stencils to paint the games. That way you can ensure that everything is adequately spaced for proper safety with the students, and then it makes sense for what you're trying to accomplish in your painted play area. Another idea is to use the paint to paint waiting spots and arrows for travel patterns. So there's no guessing when students are outside using this area, but it's very specific about where they should wait if they're not playing the game, and then how the kind of the flow of traffic will go for your outdoor area. If you're using equipment, always follow the CDC guidelines for cleaning and disinfecting outside areas. And you can find that on the CDC website or link here. If you can't follow those guidelines, remember that equipment should not be used. Really important. Another thing is to ensure that there's social distancing. You may divide the play space into zones. And I'll show you a picture here in just a minute of what that might look like. But then that way you can assign each zone will have a specific number of students. And then supervisors can develop kind of the rotation. So maybe after 5 or 10 minutes, then that group of students will move to a different zone. All right. And you can also develop those rotations and lineups will just be helpful, making sure that students don't hang out at their one area the whole time that you're maybe outside in the way that goes. You know how students are. Sometimes they find their favorite game and they never want to leave. Well, having some type of a rotation and a lineup just ensures that all students will have equal opportunity to play each game. This is just a mock playground layout. If you've seen the design phase, you'll figure out and you'll be taught how to do this. So don't be overwhelmed by all the colors, but this would be a large area outside. And then you can see that each stencil has been uniquely placed. And then you'll notice that you could see perhaps zone 1 There's 20 students for that zone where you see the zone areas here. Zone 2 might have 20 students, and then zone 3 would have 20 students. So again, this is just helpful as we think about being socially distanced, but it's also just to help the students find the best and have the best opportunity to play the game with little interruptions or little struggles for conflict. Another thing you might consider are schedules. So consider an alternative recess schedule so you can limit the number of students on the playground at one time. An example would be is maybe group A goes on Monday and Wednesdays, group B will go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you have a large amount of students that tend to be outside at the same time, you may consider developing a schedule. And then teaching the games. So students will be taught the rules of the games during recess, physical education, or during your after school program. This is really important. We've also created the playbook of recess games that have each stencil and each game we created, 32 games that have specific instructions, modifications. So whoever is in charge of students or leading that game time will have resources available if they're not familiar with the games. But all the students play by the same rules, which we found really lessens that student to student conflicts. Each game has a set of their own rules that it allows students to be creative in certain ways, but the rules of the games don't change. So this gives you an example. This first photo is the Copycat station, and then you'll see on the bottom is the Bullseye station. So this is just setting up the stencil, making it similar inside the gym as what that stencil will be painted outside, and it allows some practice time in a small supervised setting. We've had physical education teachers that set up their gym maybe a week or two before they're going outside. They set up their gym with these stencils and they teach the kids the games inside so that once they go outside, they're like, oh, there's Copycat. We know exactly what to do. All right. And then this also allows those educators to provide feedback and to teach the conflict resolution strategies, right? Both really important parts of being successful as the students play the game. This is a list of just the recess games that we've included in this first playbook for the recess games. You'll see a list of these here, and I'll let you just look at that. Each of these games have stencils that are provided to you and can be painted on your play space in a specified area. And this is just a continuation of other games that you can choose from. So one of the things that you'll find too is we have the playbook of recess games. So you'll find specific instructions, like I said, the equipment you'll need, which most of the time is just the painted play space area. You'll see for Foursquare, you're going to need a ball. For the figure 8, you need no equipment. But the playbook will tell you that specifically, also give you some modifications, and it may give you some other ideas. So on figure 8, students can just get out and follow the line. That may be one thing that they do, and just to be moving and being active, but there may be another option of a game that you could use. And also in the playbook, you'll find examples of videos of students actually playing that game. So you'll see the written instructions. You'll also be able to look at a video of students playing on that surface in that specific game. These are just a couple of examples of some of the favorites. Copycat, where students, they get to pick what they do, and then their partner across from them does that same thing. And then you'll see on the right side is the Bullseye activity, where they get to either they can use, I guess that would be kind of like a little throwing tail. I can't think of the word. But anyway, they can use that to try to get to a target. And students really love the Bullseye. That's been a favorite as well. And then Gotcha. Many of you will remember this, but we were able to paint the basketball stencil right here to this area, specific on that court. And students really love playing Gotcha on that. And again, there's a lot of games that you can play. Gotcha is just one that we found that students really enjoy. So Make sure as you're doing the implementation phase to get a copy of the Playbook of Recess Games. The other thing that you'll find is the Playground Assessment and Planning Toolkit that will come before the implementation. But the demonstration videos that I mentioned will be really key in helping you, one, get an idea of what these games can look like. And also, I think sometimes as you're watching students play these games, you may get that, oh, wow, this is a great idea, but I can do this with my students. And we love that and would love for you to take our ideas and build and grow with them as well. And then you'll also find some resources for the painting event, such as volunteer task sheets and things that you need for the actual event. But again, this implementation phase is really all about teaching the students what they need to know to play the games and have a great time. We found a lot of success in just having students be prepared beforehand, but we've also had some students that just show up to school and they see the painted play area and they're able to use their own creativity outside maybe on day one, and then teachers can come and teach them some ideas, help them work through the games that day. So I think that you'll find that either way works and that you'll be successful. And the really most important thing is that kids are going to have a great time being active and working together in this area. So that ends for today. Thanks for joining. I hope that this is helpful. Please don't forget to use those resources provided for you for each phase of your design project. And I hope that you have a great time enjoying all the things that you've created with the Painted Play Spaces project.